years from now, plants and animals have been wiped from the surface of the Earth. Only microbial extremophiles survive in a rapidly evaporating, increasingly salty ocean. For the oceans, time has finally run out. The brightness of the expanding sun boosts average global temperatures to a blistering 100 degrees, nearly double than today. Professor James Casting is investigating the devastating effect this has on the oceans of the future.
Well, we think that the Earth will start to lose its oceans when the sun gets about 10% brighter than it is today.
His findings confirm evidence gathered by Apollo astronauts in 1972. Hydrogen is escaping from the Earth. Water is made up of 1 part oxygen and 2 parts hydrogen. So what the astronauts were seeing was the infinitesimal loss of the oceans into space.
This new AI music creator is insane, and it's part of the same all-in-one clone voice AI platform that
Today, this amount is nothing serious. But 1.2 billion years in the future, when the temperature is 100 degrees, the process goes into overdrive. Faster evaporation now saturates the air with water. As this water rises to the top of the atmosphere, ultraviolet light from the sun splits it into its 2 component parts, oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is so light, it floats off into space, lost forever. What Casting discovered was that from full to empty, the whole process of losing our oceans could take less than 200 million years. Without water, life cannot exist. So to find out when this will happen, he had to look at a planet not unlike the Earth that lost its oceans in the same way.
Well, I got interested in the future of Earth's oceans by working not on Earth, but on Venus.
Physically, Venus is almost a twin of our planet, and billions of years ago, it might have been even more similar.
May well have had liquid water on its surface at one time, just as the Earth does now. But it was too close to the sun. It lost that water by what we call a runaway greenhouse. It's likely, in my opinion, that Earth will follow the path of Venus at some point in the future.
Studying Venus helped Casting estimate when we will start to lose our oceans. The answer came as a shock.
Well, up until we had worked on this problem, many scientists thought that the Earth would retain its oceans for at least another 3 or 4 billion years. But we were able to show that bad things start to happen much earlier than that. The oceans could be lost in 1.2 billion years.
With the water gone, dry salt crusts like these are all that will remain of the Earth's magnificent oceans. Is this the end for life? Incredibly, a new discovery has shown that even without water, basic life forms can survive. But for how long?
Although we'd known that organisms could live in very high salt, we knew that they could also be trapped in solid salt. But what we didn't know is that while they're in the solid salt, it's more than them being in suspended animation, that they are actually still metabolically active. They're still breathing and eating and excreting and doing all the sorts of things they need to do, but at a very, very, very slow rate. So that was really an astounding discovery for us.
In 1.4 billion years, with the oceans finally gone, extremophiles will survive in the solid salt, but just barely.
These organisms will be able to survive a good deal longer in a salt crust like this, even in the absence of water. They won't be able to survive forever like that, but it'll buy them a little time.
Perhaps another few million years. In that time, their main protection will be the red color that acts as a sunblock. While they live, they will transform the way our planet looks from space.
People always think of the Earth as this beautiful blue planet, the pale blue dot in the sky. But the fact is, for almost half of Earth's future history, it will be a Barbie planet. It will be covered with pink salt.
This is the Earth, 1.4 billion years from now. The extremophiles cling on in an increasingly desperate fight, but the rising temperatures as the sun brightens eventually defeat them. By 1.6 billion years into the future, the temperature has climbed to 224 degrees, far above the boiling point of water. Life finally loses the battle. The last remaining extremophile dies.
There are several poignant moments in geologic history. The Earth losing its oceans will be the most poignant of all, because that really will be the end of life as we know it. And unless we've figured out how to colonize other planets, then life will come to an end. It's a pretty sobering thought.
The time of the pink Earth passes. Our planet is reduced to a brown, featureless world. Unless we have found a foothold on another, this is the end of life in our universe.
What if a moment of connection could create a real shift in your life? You're invited to join the soul.
For the next 6 billion years, our dead world orbits the dying sun. Only an astronomer can see this far into the future, to the Earth's final moment of existence. Dr. Robert Smith from the University of Sussex has unraveled the Earth's ultimate fate. But his journey of discovery has taken some unexpected twists and turns. The process begins as the dying sun continues to swell in size.
The sun getting bigger will have severe consequences for the Earth, because we predict that the sun will get at least 200 times its present size.
All stars go through a cycle of life and death. Astronomers know this because they can see stars that represent every stage of life that our sun will go through. In 7 billion years, our sun will be close to death. The sun is now 1,000 times brighter, 200 times its present size, and still growing. The heat literally dissolves the face of the Earth, wiping away the last of its uniqueness.
As the sun gets bigger, the mountains will start to melt, and instead of having high mountains and deep ocean depths, everything will flow into a uniform sphere, be featureless, and very, very hot.
Earth's surface is now melting in 2,500 degree heat. The surface runs with liquid metal. Our planet is utterly unrecognizable, a totally alien world. The end is now close. But Dr. Smith's calculations revealed a last-minute escape might just be possible. $7.5 billion years in the future. The mountains and oceans have been erased from the Earth's surface. The temperature is over 2,500 degrees. It has been lifeless for 6 billion years. Now the Earth itself is about to die. At the heart of the dying sun, helium is reaching a critical stage. It's becoming so dense, its atoms so crowded, that the core is becoming explosively unstable. It now takes on its final form, a red giant, 256 times bigger than it is now. It fills the sky.
First of all, you would see the size of the sun beginning to increase, get redder, get brighter. At the moment, we're used to seeing it about the size of the full moon. Then it would get bigger and bigger, it would fill more and more of the sky, till eventually when it became a red giant, it would probably fill something like half the sky.
As the sun burns up the last of its fuel, It expands outwards, now almost 200 million miles in diameter and swallowing everything in its path. Is this the fate of planet Earth? When Dr. Smith first tried to find out, the figures showed that as the sun gets bigger, it loses its gravitational grip on the Earth. The chain is broken, and our planet drifts off into space, potentially escaping a fiery death. It seemed that Smith had saved the planet.
It was a good feeling that we'd saved the Earth, and indeed some of the newspaper headlines said exactly that.
But then, one of Smith's colleagues took another look and produced new calculations about the red giant. These seemed to suggest a radically different picture.
When we came to look at the calculations again, we realized that we'd missed something out. We realized that there was a missing effect which we had to take into account, and that's to do with tides.
What they hadn't taken into account are the tidal effects of the Earth on the Sun. The Earth's gravity will create a tidal bulge on the surface of the Sun, in much the same way as the Moon affects the rise of the ocean tides on Earth today. This bulge, in turn, creates a drag on the Earth, pulling it back towards the Sun.
We present to you Moby Office. Moby Dogs.
Smith set to work using the new data to find out just what would happen now.
We didn't know what to expect when we first put in this additional effect. We hoped that even when we put in the tides, the Earth would still escape.
Smith announced a very different set of results. The news was bad. The tidal effect chains the Earth to the Sun.
When we came to look at this problem again and put in the extra effects and realized that the Earth would in fact not survive, we decided to call our paper Doomsday.
The surface of the Earth is now nearly 2,500 degrees, hot enough to melt metal. The outer fringes of the Sun reach out to engulf the Earth.
We try to imagine what it would look like to see the Earth disappearing. Just be like an asteroid crashing through this Earth's atmosphere. It will burn up completely. It will vaporize, it will disappear, become part of the Sun, and it will be as if it has never been.
12 billion years of planetary history ends. The death of planet Earth, engulfed in flame, vaporized by the Sun, reduced to atoms.
Sort of dust to dust. But it's not such a bad thing, because those atoms, your dog's atoms, your car's atoms, they go out into space, and what do? They end up forming new stars, new planets, and maybe even new people.
It's a cruel act of fate that life-giving stars will one day go bad. Big changes are coming. By understanding how Earth worked in the past and how it works today, science is beginning to understand what the future may bring. The death of the Earth is already laid out in front of us. It's written into its geological past, and literally into the stars above us.